An Improvement to the Times by Joseph Scaliger, Book 1, Chapter 8, concerning the Olympic period. The most ancient thing among the Greeks is the observance of a quarter of an extra day above 365 days. The Greeks are considered the origin of this sacred rite. The response from the oracle, that you sacrifice katete patria. The question, which was katete patria thien, again she responds, katatria. A practical interpretation, thien katete patria ke katatria, is thien kat eniatos kataminas kathimeras. Therefore, if the solar year is only observed, none of them satisfy the prophecy. For kat eniatos is indeed sacrifice, but not katminas ke kathimeras. The year, whose days are either solar or lunar, are both astronomical. Their image is practical. As the oldest panegyric, such as the Olympiads and the Pythiads were, they celebrated the purely lunar month, and their certain cycles return in the rotation, and follows the sun's turning point, whose only remedy is an embolism. And so the statutory year of 12 full months, with 2 days appended, whose correct 4-year period's completion appears to coincide with the lunar new month, by removing one of their appended days. They call this time the tetraeteride. Thus the Olympics, which must be celebrated on the full moon, fell precisely on the 15th of the first month. And thus, katamina they sacrifice, because kataselenian. Again, because the intervention of the embolism month in the second tetraeteride is due to the sun, thus, katainiaton appears to be sacrificed, and consequently, kathimeras, because ke kataselenian ke kathibian. However, considerably afterwards they caught on to a few octaeterides, which they composed from 2 tetraeterides, with a single day more than the solar. As with all tetraeterides having a single day removed, it was necessary to remove 2. In that year in which it occurred, it was called disexaceremos. Within the month that included sexareses, a 1 or 2 day sexareses occurred, and Cicero distinctly teaches us. Therefore, with the predictions by the astronomers and hierophants, they removed 2 days, noticed first of all by Callippus in the 19th tetraeterides, which is 76 years. 2 days must be removed in a quarter of them. For he saw a quarter of a day was missed by Meton, and 27,760 days, 76 Metonic years, exceeds the total solar years by 1 day. 76 solar years is equal to 27,759 days. However, 19 Greek tetraeterides, with 9 intercalated full months being 27,763 days, of which if we subtract 27,759, leaves us with 4 days in excess of the 19 ordinary exaceremos. Now 76 Greek years is 27,360 days, which if you add 270 days, 9 intercalary months, the total is 27,630 days, which are removed from the 27,759 days, resulting in anarchos days, as the appended days are called 129. That 129 is distributed over 76 years. All 19 tetraeterides had exaceremai, but 4 of them required disexaceremai. 1st, 5th, 10th, and 15th. That is a quarter of the years, 20, 40, and 60, are disexaceremai. For the new moon to squarely align with the first month of a quarter of tetraeterides. And this healthy, most elegant form is in such great ignorance about the movements of the moon, which anyone can understand if they want to. Callippus, being not at all innovative, but as we have said, shows in 19 tetraeterides there were only 4 exareses, and after 19 ordinary, another 23 exareses, make the tetraeteride perfectly align. Therefore, the correct period of 76 years is accomplished, which yearly exaceremon, ke disexaceremon, were assigned and recorded. For that same period, not only Athenians, but the other Greek nations embraced. The most ancient of all tetraeterides is the Olympiad, for the reason that the Olympiad predates everything and should be placed first, especially with all the remaining being derivatives from this way, as shown in their respective places. With good reason, therefore, it leads its family. Its beginning to the first day of summer, according to Censerensis and Stachio, which is what Picia calls the year's solstice. Domus improba fringent, fregiora, Piciemque domus non estuat annum. Her house does not perceive the sidereal solstice. The month of the first Olympics, in which the 15th coincided with the Olympic Games, was sometime after the 8th of July, near the new moon of the 9th of July. In remote time it was the 6th of August. The first Olympic game was commissioned in the Julian period 3938, lunar cycle 5, solar 18. The new moon of the Jewish calendar 2985, weekday 3, July 9th. The characteristics are 3, 3, 905. For that reason, the side at their end never enters the Olympic month, but seriously. And then they make the cardinal points of the world, that is, trope ke ismenian, transversed the 8th part of the zodiac. In fact, 8th of July, Platicos, was the 8th part of Cancer. Therefore, the first Olympic game was celebrated on the 23rd of July, and all Greek tropes theranos find themselves on the 8th or 9th of July. The last ephor among Dionysius of Halicarnassus, the 9th of July, is poorly called tropos theranos, as we see. For the first month of Herodotus, or the Olympiad, the new moon is on the 9th of July, after the solstice, which he placed it on the 8th. So the 9th is the first, and due in part to the new moon, not, however, the solstice. The table below is constructed from the first month of Herodotus and expands the total years period. The first column is the number of years in the period expanded. The second, the lunar cycle. Third, the total days collected in Greece. Fourth, new moon in Julian months. Fifth, the last tetraeterides in the Julian month. Tetraeterides in the Julian year is the interval between 8th of July and the following new moon of the Attican hecatombion, or the first of the month of Herodotus, or the Olympiad, whose name is not known. And so, being caught in the beginning of hecatombion, how many perite numere in Scaliger are in excess of the Julian year? We can easily see, because we have our Julian years. But the Herodotus Hierophant, which is called Basileus, intercalates a day between 8th and 9th of July, without the 4 solar years, 400 days after the Julian leap year. Therefore, the solar Olympic year begins 122 days after the Julian leap year, and 405 days, where in 4 years they have 21 perite. Within the Julian years there are only 20. It is due to the Julian leap year. The year, therefore, of the first Olympiad is an embolism month, 392 days, of which in comparison with the solar year only has 365 days, leaving 27 perite. Therefore, the first of Scaliger is equivalent to the 3rd day from the first of hecatombion. The following year, with 392, makes 754 days, which when subtracted from 2 solar years leaves 24 perite. Ergo, Scaliger's first day in the 2nd year compared to the first of hecatombion has the new moon on the 6th day. Again, adding the 3rd year to 754 equals 1,116 days, which from the 3rd solar year is off by 21 perite, with the same table giving only 20 due to the Julian leap year. 4 true Julian years, that is 1,461 days, are removed from the 1477 days, giving us 16 perite. But because his year is disexaresimos, that is, 2 days removed, it left 15 perite, as in the table. The disexaresimos is demonstrated within the first tetraeteride. We say over 129 anarchos chimeras should only be 76 Greek years, which if they are distributed, you have 1 and 53/76 days in a single year. In its first year, it had 1 day with 53/76 days. The second has 2 days with 30/76. The third had 2 with 7/76. The fourth one with 60/76. Therefore, the first and fourth have singular anarchehimere, and all others of the tetraeteride are dissexaresimos. Thus progressing 1 and 53/76 days shows you the fifth tetraeteride, the 10th, and the 15th are dissexaresimos. Because the first year of the first tetraeteride was not immediately changed by 1 day, but had 2 days removed after the fourth year, we are taught, as we say, Cicero, who writes that from the same month it was off by an extra day, and excluded from the daily register. So you have the elegant period whose new moon starts all tetraeterides exactly in line with the moon. Since the first new moon appeared, the rest followed, like links in the chain. Due to uncertainty, however, the epochal years in the Greek nation and the diverse principles around the moon, that year, the heralds announced the Olympic Games. Pindar's Isthmian too. Otete Kyrikes oran agnignon spandorphori chronidi xenos aliou. Scholia. Oi Kyrike oi tas oran ke ton keron tu Olympiakou agonos ekiriaston kath ex eteletu. So, as this is the truest period, to which certainly all Greek periods descend, as to the certain rule, that is the reverent culture of the Olympics, changed only the tetraeterides, not however the new moon. In fact, all yearly periods convene in the lunar cycle, but not at the right time. Example: the Attican period was invented in the Olympic year 38, which is the second cycle. Therefore, the Attican coincides with the Olympic cycle, not the time, which to the Attican method we determine the antiquity. After the Olympiad, and the first year of the Attican tetraeteride is the third Olympics. The Scaliger Pindar for the Olympics Book 9, 91. Katamien himeran o dio inikisan, o men eformastos, Olympia, o de lampromaxos, Isthmia. Always celebrated on the same day of the same month. However, they celebrate the first day of Hyperberete in summer. Therefore, before the tetraeterides festival fell on the new moon, afterwards on the full moon, which fell on the new moon of the month Isthmian, and the 15th of the month Herodotus. However, the same time of year and the same new moon are seen elsewhere, where all periods differ by 19 or 57 or 38 years, 1, 3, or 2 cycles. If a certain period is different from the Olympic cycle by 1, then the fourth year of the alternate tetraeteride is the same as the first tetraeteride's version. If the difference is 2 cycles, the third year of the tetraeteride is the first of the other tetraeterides. If finally the difference is 3 cycles, the second year will be an alternate of the other's first. Repeatedly, the tetraeteride is 1476 days in the first period, which in all are 50 lunar months, while the only lunar tetraeteride is 49 months. So the first year of the Jewish cycles from the Olympic month has the new moon on 11th of July, the fourth Easter cycle. The fifth year from the new moon was on 28th of June, but the Olympic month does not match it. From there, as in the first tetraeteride, but on 28th of July. The 8th Easter cycle, where between 2 new moons are the absolute lunar months, is 50. That happens if you want to interpret Pindar in the third Olympic Games. Yeniate deo ognon pote men dia tetraconta enia menion. Pote de dia pentaconte hothen ke pote men tu Apolliano mine. Pote de tu Parthenu epitelete. This they want. They celebrate another to Hecatombiani Prytanias, pote de tu Mentagitian Prytanias. But the month which they celebrated among the common people are always the same, popularly placed in Hecatomion. But it was not always the Hecatomion Prytaneus. However, from the 11th of the month until the 16th they certainly celebrated for 5 days. Hence Pemptimeras Amelas, said Pindar in Olympics 5. Also, this example probably never anticipated Kentron, the true 9th Elidicious month. Elephion is only found in Pausanias, Halicarnassus alpha. Kateitos de ektaston philazantas o mantias tin eniatan epi deca tu ilaphio minos komizon sen en tu Prytanion tin tephros. At the vernal equinox coinciding with the same Halicarn beta. Epe de tu oros ticoraphi theosin o basile calumene tu chrono kata ismerian tin en tu iri elaphio mini para Heliasis. Therefore it is the same with Elaphibolion, and consequently 9 to the first solstice. Also remember the Scholia on Pindar. To Apollonius K tu Pathenio Minos, Ode 3 to the Olympics. Geniate deo ogan pote men dia tesseraconta enia menon. Pote di pentaconta hothen ke pote men tu Apolliano mini. Pote de tu Parthenion epitelite.